The Everglades are a wetland ecosystem located in South Florida and spans across 1.5 million acres. We visited during the dry season, which is typically between December through April. During our visit, we made sure to explore the northern section of the park, which included biking to the Shark Valley Observation Tower and riding an airboat through the Everglades. But we also made our way to the southern entrance near Homestead, Florida. Here, we were able to do what is known as a wet walk. No one in our family will believe this. Where we actually went walking in the Everglades and talk about a unique experience. We then drove all the way down to Flamingo at the southern tip of the park for a chance to spot some manatees. If you're looking for a great spot to stay, Homestead was perfect because it was a little bit between both the north and southern entrance. From there, we headed north to check out Shark Valley. This was our first stop because you can rent bikes, check out alligators, and complete a 15-mile bike path that takes you to the observation tower. Now, if you don't want to bike, they do have trams available, which you can rent a spot ahead of time and get to ride and listen to some history about the area and learn about the gators.
Ready?
Yeah. So we got here at about 8:10, and there was already 2 or 3 cars ahead of us. Some of the bikes you can rent online ahead of time, although they do reserve some for when you arrive day of. You can bring your own bikes to ride this. It is 7 miles one way.
We are here in early December, and the park ranger told us we have a very good chance of seeing a lot of gators out today. She said the water temperature is cooler right now, and since the alligators spend all evening in the water during the night to hunt, they like to come out during the day and bask in the sun to warm up, and oftentimes you'll see them just relaxing on the asphalt to get warm.
Little over 3 miles in, we've seen at least 8 gators. And that includes babies sitting on their mom's heads.
That last one literally just came right out of nowhere. It looks like he just climbed out of the water.
So once you park here, there is a spot that you can park your bikes. There's porta potties to use, and now we're headed to the observation tower. The Shark Valley Observation Tower is the highest elevation a visitor can reach in the entire park at 70 feet. It offers panoramic views up to 20 miles of the Everglades, and according to the National Park Service website, it is open year-round and 24 hours a day. Make sure to look down once you're at the top to see if you can spot any wildlife. This is a great spot to have some lunch or snacks while hanging out with a friend before heading back towards the visitor center.
No way, there's one in the road. Partially in the road, his tail's in the road.
I hope you enjoyed our bike ride through Shark Valley here at Everglades National Park. If you want to either bike, see gators, or take a tram, this is the spot to be. It makes it very easy to spot numerous gators. I think we counted at least 30 at this point. There are plenty. The overlook itself is really cool to see. You get to look out over approximately 20 miles is what they estimate on a clear day. So you can see quite far because of how flat Florida is. But this is a great ride overall. So either come, rent a bike, bring your own, or book a tram tour. Bound to have a good time. Up next, we headed to Everglades Safari Park, which is very close to Shark Valley entrance. All right, we're here at the Everglades Safari Park, and we are doing an airboat tour today. Included with this, though, is a nature show, which we're starting off there.
Bubba, Buster, and Rocky on that side.
The show was brief but entertaining, and there were some interesting facts we got to learn before we headed out on the airboat tour. And if you are interested, for a small fee, you can actually take a picture with a smaller gator as well.
Let's go find find some alligators.
Taking off in the airboat literally felt like something right out of National Geographic. You have alligators, turtles, and a giant metal boat with a fan. I couldn't believe we were actually doing this. The airboat tour we chose was about 40 minutes, and we got to stop and enjoy some facts about the Everglades before heading back.
Are there crocodiles in here?
We got both animals.
Oh,
so
really?
Legally speaking, Florida's the only place in the world where gators and crocodiles coexist. The only thing is we have way more of these than the other guys. Gators in Florida, depending who you ask, I would say like 1.6 million.
So once you finish your airboat tour, you can do the show, which we actually did before ours. And lastly, at Everglades Safari Park, there is of course a nature trail, which we are walking right now, and we are looking to see if we see any more turtles or gators, because they may end up being right next to you. Honestly, probably a great one-stop shop.
Oh my God, right there.
There's a cage. Literally, this gator could not have been any closer, at just a foot or two away from us. Fortunately, there was a cage because we were caught off guard. We continued on the nature trail, which is a nice walk through the park, and spotted a few interesting birds and a couple turtles before wrapping up our time here in the Everglades. Oh baby, you guys are in for a doozy on this one. By far the most unique thing we did while in the Everglades was what's called a wet walk. Someone was kind enough to share this recommendation, and while it seemed a bit scary to be walking in gator-infested waters, we knew we had to do it. So for this section of our adventure, we are at the Ernest F. Coe Visitor Center. It's completely opposite direction as the Shark Valley where we were just in yesterday. Shark Valley, and then we're staying in Homestead, and now we're at the main visitor center, Ernest F. Coe. This is where we met our guide and received some general instructions of the adventure.
This area where it says Pahayoki.
The drive is through the park headed towards Flamingo, and after a few miles we pulled off the side of the road.
She said this time of year it shouldn't be too deep, so we're okay to wear a backpack. You ready?
While you are required to wear closed-toed shoes and pants for a small fee, you can also rent shoes and overalls for added protection. You can say we were well prepared.
Other locations can get even deeper.
At this point, it was time to head into the water. Let's go.
First for me.
You, go for it.
And you can see
I would be lying if I said we weren't a little nervous, but also excited to see what's out there.
if you were to step right here, so it's not, terrible. It does sink them a little bit.
As we continued into our walk, our guide shared some interesting facts about the area.
So this is what we refer to as paraphyton.
Paraphyton?
Yeah. Feels like a wet toilet paper.
Yeah. You want to touch it?
Nothing there.
He was the kid who didn't like finger painting in kindergarten, so
I
I'm not surprised he's not.
So all your anacondas aren't out here?
Not necessarily. We have pythons.
Pythons.
Not non-native ones.
They're the non-native one that's starting to take over, right?
So sometimes pythons might be found here. I hope we don't find one.
What?
And it's not because they'll do anything to us. It's just a bad sign.
Well, do they take on a grip like this?
Oh, you're gonna see this.
We headed even further into the Everglades, taking in the beautiful scenery and eventually finding a gator hole. There it is.
Oh my gosh. How cool.
So that right there is, or was at one point, a gator hole.
We're saying there's potentially alligators over there.
Oh, yeah, maybe. There might not be. I don't really see anything right now. Yeah, I guess so. But last time in that little...
Fortunately, we didn't spot any gators hanging out, and it was time to head back to the car. Just feel the mud in my shoes.
Oh, yeah.
A good, oh, well, I guess you guys.
Look, oh man, go way up there. Yeah, some shorty
we got a
legs.
deep spot. Look at yours.
Yeah, but that's pretty high. So they definitely say bring a change of pants because you're just soaked. I mean, I have some long legs. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and it was all the way up to this spot. So that's a lot of water. That was probably like the coolest thing we could have possibly done in Florida. If you're not scared to get in to potentially python and alligator infested water, this is definitely the highlight. Like, this was something very unique. And our tour guide just said, we are like a very small percentage of people that go out there and say, oh yeah, that was really cool. She said most people finish that and they're like, what was that? I can't believe I got into this swampy water. So take it for what it is, but that was really cool. Now it's time to change. After ending our time at the wet walk, we headed down to Flamingo, which is the location of the southernmost visitor center of Everglades National Park. Here we learned more about the park, the history of the area, and that just out at the marina was the best location to see crocodiles and, of course, manatees.
Crocodile. All we've seen is alligators. Oh. We'll get to see a crocodile.
So we drove all the way down here to Flamingo, the southernmost point of mainland Florida, and also I'm pretty sure of the entire Everglades National Park. Basically, we're looking just to see what's down here because we heard this is where the crocodiles and alligators tend to mingle, and you might see manatees. And we just wanted to check it out because it's our last day here. And we just passed someone that said there's a crocodile sunning itself.
It's a crocodile. This is one of the only places in the, actually I think it is the only place in the entire world where you can see both alligators and crocodiles in the same area. And there's a crocodile!
Okay, well that was definitely pretty cool to see. We are hustling out of here because literally eaten alive. We haven't really had to use a lot of bug spray while we've been here, but for some reason this spot in Flamingo, sorry, mosquito infested. You come to this section, bring your bug spray. Can't even think I'm getting bitten all over. I gotta run. Yeah, it is. What? December 7th, 8th, 10th, and round 2. The crocodile was still there after we bought bug spray, so of course we watched him again for a few minutes. Then, as we walked around the marina to see the other side, we were about to leave because we couldn't seem to find any manatees. Just more gators and crocodiles. Then all of a sudden we noticed some funny looking shadows lurking in the marina.
Oh my gosh, look it!
Whoa. Scared him. The manatees were actually quite hard to capture on camera because they would surface for a few seconds, then quickly disappear back into the murky water. And that does it for our trip to the Everglades National Park. While we didn't do a ton of stuff here at Flamingo, it is worth coming to because all we had to do was walk to the visitor center, hear a bit of information, walk down to the dock, and we saw the crocodile and manatees. So, well worth it. Really easy, little bit of a drive, but beautiful throughout it. Definitely cool to see.
And if you come in the spring or summer, there's a high likelihood that you'll also see flamingos.
Hope you enjoy the Everglades.
Hey, looks like you do.